All right, good day. God bless you. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am your host, Zach, and this is Tip2Tip. Yes, the joking named YouTube channel. To give tips for myself, for others, to work with others, to get help, to give help, to be the best I can be, which is not very good, but I want to be better and better and better. So it just took me about 10 minutes to figure out how to rotate this phone to get it to go live vertical. So let's be happy about that. All right. My God, why did this? We're working it, guys. We're working it. What is this here? So today, besides trying to figure out YouTube Live vertical stream, we are trying to figure out how to eat less. What can we do every day? You know, how to work through the holidays. How to endure the bumpy times of life, not just in dieting, but in anything. You know, health issues, relationship issues, financial issues, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional issues. Get better at them. Get better at being. Just get better at being you. Just get to learn how to be content, if not happy. Of course, good things happen and you're happy. Bad things happen and you're sad. But somewhere in between there is being content that we know both of those things will happen throughout life, pretty much continuously. I remember before I had a strong enough faith to really believe in life and believe in humanity, I just said life is a consequence of miserable events and then you die. Which, without a God, I can see someone having that opinion. But there's so much good in life and so much love and humanity that I believe in and I want to be a part of and I want to spread and share. And if that's what my Christianity is, then that's what I want to portray it as. That I don't hate anybody. I know God says in the Bible the things he hates. He doesn't say necessarily the people he hates, but he's like, this is the things they do. I hate these things, you know. And, you know, they can lead to judgment from him, not me. But I'm on here today, one, because, you know, going live is my favorite way to burn the clock and just use up a bunch of time while I'm on the bike. Okay, there, we had to go share our live stream, so hopefully that worked. So had the not birthday, Christmas party yesterday because you know my wife's Filipina, and so we have a bunch of Filipino friends around the neighboring cities, and including the town we're in, Shakopee, Minnesota. We just met up, little drive away. I kind of skimped on my breakfast and lunch that day because I knew I'd be eating a holiday dinner, and I did eat things I wouldn't have eaten at home. You know, like some dessert type things, little clusters, like those little white chocolate covered pretzels, or there was these little like peanut marshmallow chocolate covered things, and I had about two or three of each of those, which I would have never eaten on my normal day. And then you know, their cooking was obviously not low carb. You know, it had some like homemade mac and cheese, which is delicious. Some chicken drumsticks and some ribs, which is what I started with. You know, if you're gonna eat carbs, don't eat them first. Something I'm learning to help reduce the spike in your insulin or in your blood sugar, which would reduce the spike in your insulin, is to eat the protein first. You know, the protein fat mixture, whatever kind of fat it is. You know, the ribs and the chicken, they weren't exactly zero carb because the chicken had batter on it and the ribs had sauce on it, but at least it's got some protein and fat in there. And then I went on to the other, and I ate some vegetables, some peppers and carrots and celery sticks and stuff like that, just without any dip or anything. I just consumed those to kind of try to fill up. They had pizza and other food that I didn't eat, but I enjoyed a nice big plate of food and then a little bit of dessert, and drank a couple bottles of water to try to help wash that sugar out. I haven't taken my sugar yet today, but it's one of those things where like you know what you did, like Is it going to motivate me to take my blood sugar right now and see that it's 120 or 90 or 150 or 80? It's like, no matter what it is, I know what I did. I know I ate incorrectly. And yeah, it's important to check that if that's what you're really trying to drop down, but you know what you did. Blood pressure, I'm a little more out of control as far as like I really don't know where it's going to be any given day. It's been very low. I just had a blood pressure reading of 106 over 70 something at one of my appointments the other day. It was like a sleep study appointment. But I, I felt like it would have been higher. So like now I'm getting to the point where when I continue to lose weight and live a healthier lifestyle and cut down my carbs, and because I can really tell, this is 2 days ago when I had that sleep study, I hadn't eaten any carbs that day. I had only eaten some ground beef, just plain ground beef with some fried eggs on top, like fried in butter, or avocado oil is what I typically fry my eggs in. So it was just like half a pound of beef or 3/4 of a pound of beef with some fried eggs, and put them on top and just ate it like that. It's delicious. It's not super low calorie or nothing, but it's super low carb. And I can tell usually if I haven't eaten carbs for quite a while, which doesn't spike your insulin, then my blood pressure's a lot lower. So just going live, guys, trying to live life well. Welcome to the channel. Maong bunta, kumusta ka? I am 53, recovering from a stroke. Feeling positive about life, though, like things happen and you have to drive forward. You have to move on. And you're in control of a lot more than a lot of professionals, I'll call them, are going to make you believe, because, they're not evil. They're trained. I mean, if you go to a dentist and they think, something is great for your teeth, that's all they know. They haven't been taught any different. They haven't read all the different literature. They've only read this is what you have to do instructions. They haven't studied anything. They've studied instructions of being told what to do. And of course, it's my biggest argument, even though I support capitalism, it's my biggest argument within capitalism is because every form of government is corrupt. In capitalism, you just have that money-making corruption, which can be quite frustrating. I don't hate millionaires and billionaires. That's just irrelevant to me. Are some of them evil? Yeah. But if you take 1,000 billionaires, 2,000 billionaires, I guarantee you don't know more than a couple of them. I could pick random ones and you wouldn't know any of them. They're not affecting your life in any way, unless they just happen to own the business you work for and they're providing an income for you to support your family. It's like, oh, they should share all the wealth. Well, then there wouldn't be any companies. But anyway, let's move on from that. How did we eat less then? So we skimped out yesterday and we ate our smaller breakfast, and we cheated for dinner, and then I did good. I came home, I didn't eat. I was a little hungry when we got home because we had eaten at about, let's just say 6:30ish. We ate dinner there and we hung out. It was a great party. I had a great time, so I didn't really want to leave too early, but we got going and got home at like 10 or 10:30. So something like 10:30, I would have normally been laying down, but I wasn't so tired, and I kind of had that snack on my mind. But you just let it go. I've noticed with a lot of things, I don't think about not drinking, so I'm never trying to not drink. I don't never ever think about drugs. I guess if I'm totally honest, there's probably a few times a year, and yesterday was one of them where, well, I could drink a little sip of red wine and it would be fine, and I'm right. But my internal argument kind of usually gets me out of the attitude and just says, there's just nothing good about it. There's just no reason to consume alcohol for the human body. The Bible says a bit for the good of the belly, like maybe as a stress reliever, you drink a little bit of red wine. But I'm talking about an ounce at bedtime, and that's it. Nothing more, not a whole bottle, not, oh, it's good for you. A little alcohol is good for you. Everybody that says that does not drink a little alcohol. They drink a lot. Because otherwise they wouldn't be saying that. They don't need the excuse. They're not drinkers. So I'm equating that to food now. I still have it on my mind. I'm not I'm not in victory lane. I'm still overweight, and I'm still, you know, trying my best to prevent that I ever have a stroke again for the rest of my life. And hopefully I live another 30, 40 years and never have another one. And I'm relatively healthy. So what do you do? You take it in your own, you take the reins, you know, be responsible for your life. You have your health, you have your wealth, you have your, you know, your fitness, your diet. You want to change, you want to be better. You got to do something. What do they say? You know, nothing's going to change if nothing changes. And so I'm just trying to make those changes. So today, knowing that I cheated on dinner last night at a little, you know, Christmas party, a little early Christmas party with my Filipina friends, and my wife's Filipina. And so today was a day like, okay, we'll just kind of, I got up earlier, but my wife and kid was sleeping. So I was like, let's just sit in bed. And I turned the light on and opened the window just to got some light, got some fresh air. I'll admit I played on my laptop a little bit, which was probably not the greatest thing I could have done. But in my situation, it is difficult to try to leave my wife and baby alone and let them sleep late. Well, long story short, we didn't have breakfast until like going on noon. I think, yeah, I think I had a 2 egg omelet. So I scrambled up 2 eggs. I chopped just a tiny bit of green pepper, tiny bit of red onion, and a little bit of mushrooms, and chopped them all up kind of small and just mixed it in with the egg. And then just put my avocado oil in the pan and poured that in there. And the volume really increases when you add them vegetables. You know, 2 eggs doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add a few little handfuls of vegetables, little pinches of the onions, peppers, and mushrooms, and then just I sliced off a little chunk of Colby Jack cheese and just kind of diced it up into little pieces and spread it around, threw the top on, and folded it in half when it was done, and ate it. And it wasn't it wasn't a meal that would have satisfied me 10 years ago, 20 years ago at all. But now, you know, I wasn't even very hungry when I ate it to begin with. And so you got to kind of recognize your body sensations. I still want to go on a diet where, and I may do this very relatively soon, because if you look at like unhealthy people, like how do they diet? You know, like they're so extreme that their diet is unhealthy. They're basically not eating anything. They're drinking their water and their lemon water, and they're not eating anything until they're ready to collapse, and then they eat a cracker, you know. But to draw something good out of such a negative behavior is that at least they're waiting to be hungry to eat. And of course, they're waiting way too long. They're probably not even hungry though at that point. Just like a fat person isn't hungry because they eat before they ever even get hungry. Forget waiting 5 hours before you eat another meal. They're eating every 5 minutes. They're just eating 3 big dinners in a row, like I did, you know, 10 years ago and prior to that. Probably between the ages of 30. I got divorced when I was like, I don't even remember. Was I like late 30s or something? And then all the way until I got diabetes in my early 40s, like in between there, I was just eating and drinking like crazy. Hello, happy Sunday. Somebody is commenting on my videos and they're the only one on here. But I am riding, I'm at 14 minutes. Oh, my video and my bike are almost synced up exactly. So I just waited that extra few hours, you know, because it's pretty easy for me to wait till 9 or 10 to eat breakfast anyway. So I just waited another 2-3 hours and had my breakfast at lunch. And like I said, you know, if you like lunch, then go ahead and eat your lunch. But for me, I like breakfast foods. It's cheaper and easier to me. You know, I don't mind like a big turkey club sandwich for lunch either, but I really don't want to eat the bread. So I'd have to be buying like low carb bread and meats and vegetables and blah, blah, blah to make this big complicated sandwich, or just slap together an omelet in 2 minutes and be done with it. Drink your water, which reminds me, I got my water bottle here. And we'll see, like, I want to talk about like those behaviors those stacked behaviors, behavior stacking, habit stacking. So after lunch, I wanted to do something. I wanted to get on the bike. And wanting to get on the bike reminded me, well, I got a whole list of things on my phone of what I want to do. So I got that calendar with it's got about 10 things on there. Water, walking, which I include biking, stretching, strength exercise, balance exercise because I did the stroke, yoga, tai chi combo, anything out of there for 5-10 minutes, and a few other things. What else? What else is on there? It's just basic things, basic, like nothing crazy. I mean, go for a walk, drink water. So I wanted to ride on a bike, and that habit stacked with all the other ones, and it made me want to do them all. So I pulled out my phone and busted out my basic Tai Chi for beginners, and I found the same video. I've done it before. I didn't do the whole thing before, but this time I did the whole 15 minutes, and it was really nice. It flew by, and it was very easy, and it was just standing up and swaying and stretching and turning and pushing and pulling like Tai Chi does. And it felt good, but it was like I accomplished a victory. Like I got something done. That was the first thing. And then it was like, okay, what else is on my list? Drink water. So I chugged like, half of a canteen of water. Then it was like stretching. So then I just did some downward dogs and toe touches and side bends and did some stretching. Then I looked on there. I'm like, what else is on there? Like, what else can I just get done? And just kind of like when I say drink water, drinking a half a canteen of water isn't like the end goal, but I give myself a check mark for having considered it as a goal. And you know what I mean? Like if I want to drink 1 gallon of water a day, I don't just say I did a good job once I hit 1 gallon. I say I did a good job once I remembered to drink water, like purposely. Like I need to drink extra water right now for my health. And then I give myself the check, whether I hit the gallon or not. And that includes the food you eat. And being I eat so much fruits and vegetables, I really don't think I need to eat or drink anywhere near a gallon of water. It's probably closer in between the half a gallon and 3/4 of a gallon where, like we had some papaya for lunch yesterday. I mean, that stuff's just full of water, I mean, celery, look, Google like what percentage of vegetables are water, fruits and vegetables. Like watermelon, celery, I think is 96% or something. Hi, happy Sunday. Oh, Angel Dust. OMG. Cheers, brother. So good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Just getting that little live video, that little post-stroke recovery video. Just about 2 months into living my new life and realizing there's no other option but lose weight now. And so I'm trying to give myself a little credit because I did lose pretty significant amount of weight from October 19th, the day I had the stroke, went to the hospital, was in the hospital 4 days, came home, couldn't really walk well or do anything for about a week, had no appetites at home. I was down about 20 pounds just in that first, probably less than 2 weeks. But then since then, I've had a greater appetite, even though I've been dieting pretty hard. So I think I went from 255 to like 234. So I lost like 20 pounds. And then now I'm back up to like 241 or 242. And so I'm in the middle there. But that's kind of that recovery rebound weight that you would assume you would regain, drinking more water again. And that's why I say you can't always base your happiness on the scale. Did you lose weight is all based on the scale. It's like, did you do good? That's what matters. Did you live the right life? Did you kiss your wife? Did you hold your baby? Did you read your Bible? And then all my health things, did you drink water? Did you go for a walk? And so today is a good day and we're getting there. I'm on the bike. I'm just daydreaming about success and the future. And, I think the sooner, talk about retirement. Let's just think about something that is far away. If you're in your 20s and you have a job, because you can retire at any age, you don't have to be 65 to retire. That's for damn sure. All you need is money, then you can retire. But let's say you have a job in a factory and it's a good job and it's going to provide for your wife and children and you're going to be able to buy a house or rent a nice place and have a car and go on vacations and within reason buy the things you want. If you don't focus on your retirement, you are going to work till 65, maybe 70. But if you're 25 years old, and I say 25 because I don't think too many people are grown up before then. It might even be 30, but let's just say 25. And you decide, hey, I want to retire when I'm 55, not 65, or even 45. If you dedicated your life from the age of 25 to the age of 45, so 20 years, to retiring early and having that passive income every month where you're going to be able to live off of it and you have a big chunk of it, would be a no-brainer of easiness. Guys, like when I did the video a few weeks back where I just calculated the average price of cigarettes for the last And I started from the time I was like 15 until now. But even back that up, because my numbers came out to 1.1 million. If you invested $8.18 a day, which was the average price of cigarettes for those time. It was a lot less back then, but it's more now. So it equaled out to that, and dumped it in the like an S&P 500 match the market account. And so, obviously you wouldn't need to put $8.19 in the bank or whatever it was a day. You just add it up and how much a week. Put that in out of your check and then live on the rest. And don't go in debt and don't take out big loans you can't afford. And don't go to college if you need a $50,000 loan for it and you're going to get a job. And I have a friend that is older than me that still has college debt. It's mind blowing to me. It is mind blowing. I'm a high school dropout. I mean, at least I say I'm good with money, and I only say that because I don't have any, but I'm still not struggling. Like I've been on disability for 2 months, and I just haven't bought anything. I've just paid my rent and paid my car payment and went grocery shopping. Like that is it. I haven't, I got hobbies and knickknacks, and I'm way into hiking and camping and fitness and stuff like that. And a lot of times I spend money on different things like that, and I just haven't. Just recently did, because I'm hoping that the money situation is going to turn around, and I'm trying to train my life to not love money in the way that I want to train my life, which is easy to me. I want to train my life to not love food. And so becoming aware of it is been great. As long as you know that when you want to eat something, you have to ask yourself, am I hungry? Do I, what is the result? What do I want to eat, for one? And if you don't eat junk food, it's a lot easier, because the junk food just screams your name. Like I understand how people get to be way overweight, and it's because it's a drug. And just because you see a junkie drug addict that's all skinny, they're suffering basically from the same thing as a morbidly obese, just say like a 500-pound dude that can't even walk, like a bedridden 800-pounder. Well, they're addicted to food, and it just screams their name so loudly they cannot. I remember when I started this channel, and I used to have my slip-ups where I wanted to do a 4-day fast, and then I would do a 4-day diet, and then I'd do a 4-day fast, and I did a 4-day diet. And I was relatively successful January, February, March, all the way till April 1st, and I was down like 36 pounds. But I would slip up occasionally in there. Like I would have lost a lot more weight if I didn't slip up the few times I did. And I used to say I had irresistible cravings and irresistible temptations, and I believed it. When I was saying that 2-3 years ago, I believed it. Like it was not avoidable. And now I realize, if you will just shift your focus, for one, just go for a walk. Preferably in the woods or in nature, in trees and bushes, by a lake, whatever, and notice how you lose the idea to even eat. You forget about it. You don't even remember that you were wanted to eat, mostly because you're not at all hungry. But if you can't do that, like if you're stuck in the house like I am right now, I say stuck, but like don't really want to go out in this. I'm just looking at mountains of snow outside my bedroom window here. Then at least equate that food, which when you're craving to eat a hamburger, just a ground beef patty, compared to a bowl of ice cream. Well, ice cream's way more full of chemicals that your brain is just addicted to, your muscles are addicted to, your hormones, like everything wants that sugar to pour in your body and just get that dopamine high. Where the lean ground beef, not saying it's as clean as food in the world, but it's far less processed and far less chemicals, far less addicting. Just without the argument of what's in it, we'll just see how you react to it. Like, I want to eat a hamburger, I want to eat a hamburger. Does that make you want to eat a hamburger worse than I want ice cream, I want ice cream? And you'll see, no, it doesn't. So then you think, okay, I want a hamburger, but am I hungry? Like, what does overeating? You gotta break it down. Even if you're not overeating, you gotta. How you got to where you are is the problem. So you need to change that mindset. And part of my mindset now is, is it healthy? Is it gonna spike my insulin? Do I really need it? Will I be healthier to not eat for a longer period of time? Like, I really want to be fasting right now, but with my blood pressure medication, even though it's only 5 milligrams, and I don't even think I really need it right now, but I'm overweight still, so I want to wait until until my blood pressure gets to the dangerously low point, I guess is what I'm saying. Because once I'm healthy, that medication will do that. It will make it dangerously low, and then I'll have to go off of it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, let me just get to the point where I have to get off of it, and then I won't have this debate within myself if I really need this blood pressure medication or not. But so the habit stacking, waited to eat breakfast, and I swear I could have easily not eaten breakfast, not even at noon. I didn't feel hungry when I ate it, and here's the curious thing too, and I've heard about this in other videos, and I've noticed it my entire life. I more wanted to eat something after I ate the omelet than before I ate it. And it has to be something within my psyche about the availability, like a survival instinct from my caveman forefathers, however far back we go, wherever I'm from. Mostly German, I know that, but who knows where the tribes were before that, but and what they had to eat and what availability was there. Because all that is in your DNA. It's in your genes are over the course of many generations. And why do you just born afraid of heights and afraid of wolf eyes? And like, there's reasons. Your forefathers like bred it into you to be afraid to fall off a hill and get eaten by a wolf, and not wander out in the dark. And so they also bred into me the desire, when I had food to be available, to consume enough of it to survive. And that's just not the reality of the situation I'm in here in America anyway. My bigger problem with food is the too much availability of it, not the minimal availability of it. So when I ate it, even though I was still not hungry, I wasn't stuffed. But even when I am stuffed, if I eat sugary food, or if I eat a lot of food, especially if I eat like a 16-ounce ribeye, even though it's not carbs, it's a high volume amount of food, and it's a lot of calories. It's actually not a lot of volume for the amount of calories if you compare it to vegetables, but let's just say I eat a 16-ounce ribeye, which is going to be like 1,200 calories. I actually have a very strong desire to eat carbohydrates after that. Like, I remember doing like the keto diet years and years ago when I was trying to lose weight, and I still had all kinds of bad food in my house because I'm just like, I'm still loaded up with all these foods. Where here, I just never have. I'm moving into this apartment. I've never bought them. I've never had a gallon of milk and a box of cereal in my fridge to be tempted to go eat it because I've never had it. But when I did still have those things around, that's the kind of things I would really want. Like, I'd eat that big steak and sit there for 10, 15 minutes, stuffed full, totally satisfied, do not need to eat anything. But that chemical reaction in my body would just cause this massive, intense desire in my brain to consume carbohydrates. Maybe because if they're available, maybe my forefather, he would eat his rabbit that he caught and not, and then it's like, hey, there's a bush of berries. There's a strawberry bush over there. There's a blackberry bush over there. Let's just go eat them all to load up on them calories to make it through this winter, without starving to death. And so I got to realize I'm not in that situation. And so equating that today, it's like, if I had a stronger desire to eat after I ate, well, just recognizing it was really good. That I was really happy to be in a situation where I didn't eat anything more, and I recognized it before I acted on it. If you get my point of being aware, it's very hard to form these positive habits. Like, let's just say you're going to ride the exercise bike for 30 minutes every day, but then you're just obsessed with negative things, like eating or sitting and watching TV or scrolling through your phone, which, we all do those things. But where's the positive stack of behavior then? When did you do your 15, for me today would be, I did my 15 minutes of Tai Chi. I'm probably going to go do some yoga later because I love the stretching of yoga. Tai Chi kind of does more like a wavy stretching, but not so much. Like, yoga gets more intense on the ground, downward dog, really almost painful, like intense working out. There's Tai Chi like that too. I did the real basic, like super easy one for beginners. I mean, they got moves that I can't even do. you're trying to like crouch down on one leg, like as you stretch your left leg out, you're down on your right leg, and you're not even touching the ground with your hands, and you're just like going back and forth, stretching your legs with your your heel all the way to your butt, stretching the other leg. Well, I can't get back up. If I did that, I would just fall down. So you got to start with where you're at. Just like I say on MapQuest, it never asks you where have you been. If you park your car and pull up MapQuest and say I want to go here, it doesn't say, well, where were you before you got to where you are, and then I'll tell you where you're going. It's like, no. It's always just starts from where you are. Wherever you are, it starts there, and it drives you to your destination. And sometimes you have 2 or 3 routes. You have the quickest route. You have the most fuel efficient route. You maybe have the safest route. So you have some options. And that's kind of how this fitness and health and wellness, and you have options. You don't have to get there the quickest. You can be the most efficient. You can be the safest. That's kind of where I'm at, especially at my age, and I'm getting more comfortable pushing my body. For that first month, I really didn't even want to do 10 push-ups because I was worried, like, can my heart handle it? Can my brain handle it? What gave me the stroke? Well, now I'm like, this is what I need to not have one. This is not going to cause one. I'm not saying if I go run a marathon right now, I might have some severe physical issues, because I probably would, because I'm not trained for it, and I'd be dehydrated and too, hot and running, and my body's just, there's levels of where you're at, and I'm not at that level. Now, could I go jog a 5K real super slow in about a half hour? Like, yeah, I could probably do that. But even there, that's like the borderline of where I would want to be right now. I'll probably be doing those in the spring. Just start out with some 5Ks again. I know they got them all over the cities here, and work my way back up to 10Ks, maybe back up to a half marathon. But really, there's no hurry. It's a daily action. It's not if you only focus on the finish line, then what'll happen is, if you hit the finish line, which I've done before, like, oh, I got to my goal, then you stop, because you were so focused on the goal, you weren't focused on the actions. And so I've said it before, where when I was training to run half marathons, and it's so hard because it's time consuming and it's difficult, and that's only half marathon. I can't imagine like training to be like a full-time marathon runner. Like, say if you wanted to run 2 or 3, 4 marathons a year, you'd basically be always training, or at least, maybe you'd have a week or 2 here or there of like a recovery, but you'd still be having to exercise and do like active recovery to be able to ramp back up for your next training session, because you don't want to let yourself, let's say they're 3 months apart, you don't want to take a month to gain 30 pounds and get all out of shape and don't go running and don't stay fit. So when your training routine starts again, you want to be still fit, so that's kind of my idea with the nutrition right now. It's like every calorie I eat is a check that my ass is going to have to cash. And, do I want to eat? I said this on my video a few weeks ago. Like, do I want to eat a whole birthday cake right now with a gallon of ice cream? No. I just don't want to have to cash it. I don't want to pay the price. Not just, oh, you're going to have to exercise to lose all them calories, because people that eat like that don't exercise to lose all them calories. What I'm focusing on is that massive blood sugar spike, that insulin spike, that messes up your blood, your arteries and your veins, and causes plaque and causes high blood pressure. And I mean, there's a reason like over 90% of diabetics have high blood pressure. And I'm not saying I know why. I'm not saying anybody knows why. I'm saying I want to get rid of it then. I just want to, I went from 11.1 or 11.2 A1C way back when I got diabetes, January 23rd, 2016. And just like 3 months later, I had it down to like 6. And then I went up and down, up and down, up and down over the years. I never went over 7 though, all these years. And I went, it just in between, like borderline not diabetic, which I think is like 5.5 or something, 5.4. I was down there where I was in the non-diabetic range. And then a lot of times I'm in that 5.6, 5.7, kind of pre-diabetic range. Well, then a few months back, the babies come in and I get my high blood pressure and I end up in the ER, and I finally scheduled a doctor's appointment because I hadn't had one in like since 9 years ago, basically. had a couple in there where I just checked my A1C, and my A1C was up to 7, which I'm not blaming my wife, but I know I ate a slightly different diet than even my normal non-dieting diet, just as far as rice and noodles and carbs, and so it got it up a little bit, even though the American Diabetes Association says if you have your A1C under 7 with pills and shots, that you have it under control. And to me, that's just terrible. I mean, if you got pills and shots in you, you should. I mean, you can get it down to kill you. That's getting rid of all the sugar out of your body. So I had that result, and then just a few months went by, and I had it retested because I was at the doctor again for like a follow-up, just to check my thing, my numbers. So we checked my A1C again, and just watching it a little closer, it went from 7 to 6.2, and that was quickly, like your A1C is a rolling average of your blood sugar every 3 months, because that's just because your blood sugar it's checking it out of your red blood cells, and they die off every, less than 90 days. So like it kind of, whatever's in them, the sugar gets stored in it one day, and then it never gets stored in it again, and then eventually it dies. So it is an accurate way to tell your blood sugar over the last 90 days. And I say that because no matter what your blood sugar is now, it is easily changeable in 90 days. I mean, think about it. I don't care what your blood sugar is right now. If you will eat just I'm not claiming to know the perfect ratios of fat and protein and carbs, but if you just eat practically no carbs and just eat eggs and beef, and it's an expensive diet because ribeye steaks right now are like $18 a pound, but you can buy like ground beef for like $5 a pound. You can buy an 18 pack of eggs for $5-6. I know that's where I get them at Sam's Club, and they're the pasture raised, the good eggs. So I think I bought 4 of them last time, 3 or 4 packs of those. So just so we got eggs for everything, cheap. I consider it nature's like multivitamin. The yolk and just the whole egg is great for you. So my point is, you eat like that for 90 days, and no matter what your blood sugar was before, I don't care if it was 15. I don't know how high it gets before you die, but it'll be back to normal. It's not even that I'm going to say I guarantee it, but it's just a biological fact of it can't not be, because you didn't eat any sugar, and then all you had to do was wait long enough for them cells to reproduce and recover. The old ones die, the new ones build up, and there's no sugar in the body to store them, so they don't. And then 3 months later, how can you reverse such a chronic lifelong disease in 90 days? Well, that's how. That's why I tell people I'm not like the hugest proponent of the carnivore diet, because there's so many vegetables and fruit, especially nuts, seeds, and berries out there that are healthy and good for us. But it's definitely a way to reverse that blood sugar problem. And that makes me think too, if you Google, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, a lot of these just pop in my head because they're things I've checked in the past. But recently I've checked too, like if you took the volume of your blood, which I'm not sure how much is, just 5 liters or whatever it is, 2 liters, I don't know how much it is. But you take that and divide that by, how much sugar is in there. And that's kind of where you come up with your sugar, your millimoles of sugar per liter, like deciliters of sugar per millimeters of blood, whatever, and it comes to whatever the healthy number is. Like, let's just say 5.2, 5.4. That equates to like 1 tablespoon of sugar, or was it 1 teaspoon? See, I got to Google it again. It's a small amount of sugar. Let's even go on the high end and say 1 tablespoon of sugar in your entire body. And that's the normal amount of sugar in your body. And then to be like full-blown diabetic, way over the top, is 1.5. So it's either teaspoon or tablespoon. The point is not, that ain't even the point. The point is it's only a small amount more makes you diabetic. And, and then your body is just, when your liver starts pouring the fat out, you got fatty liver disease, and it starts pouring fat into your abdominal cavity. It's trying to control that sugar, but it's storing it as fat, and then you got too much fat coming in, and it can't process it all. Your liver's the only thing that can process it. It starts pouring it out into your abdominal cavity it's actually trying to save you. It's storing up this fat. You'll burn it off later, but then nobody burns it off later. And then that fat is in your abdominal cavity where your organs are, especially your pancreas. That makes the hormone insulin and controls your blood sugar. And I have a strong feeling that that has a ton to do with it. And that's, it's one of the reasons I'm so anti-doctor. And, even with having a stroke, it's like, these people are not trained what to do. And I'm not saying I am either, but I can do my research and study. Like I said, they're not doing research. They don't have time for that. They went to school. They're massive college debt. They have a high paying job, but of course then they buy that house and that car and live that lifestyle, and they don't have any money saving up anyway. But they definitely don't have time to be like, well, what's the best diet, when they don't ever give diet advice. I've never had a doctor give me diet advice. They've only given you pill advice and surgery advice. And so and just my opinion is to drift away from that. And let me get to, well, for one, just that self-sustainability. Like, do I really need, well, I know I don't need these medications in my life. I'm not saying I hate doctors. I don't hate doctors. I like my doctor. She's not even a doctor, but she's a high-level nurse or whatever she is. And she's doing her best. She don't know. I tell her, hey, my goal is to lose weight and get off all these pills. And she just doesn't even look away from her computer screen. She doesn't even answer the question. She just sits there. And well, she doesn't even respond to the statement. She just sits there. Like, that's not part of her reality. Her reality is get people on drugs and they stay on them for the rest of their life. And that's the only way. And if you have a problem, we'll give you more of a different kind. I had a friend, well, she's still my friend, friend of mine's wife, and she was on dozens of prescription medications at the same time, at once, prescribed them all. And they do studies on these medications, but they don't do studies on cross taking them, Well, this drug has this effect, and this drug has this side effect, and this drug has this side effect. Well, what's the side effect if you take them all at once? Have you done that study? Because no, they haven't. They don't have to. We're never going to get rid of them until you just take responsibility. I think of people like my wife's grandmother who passed away a few months ago. She was 93 years old. I guarantee you she wasn't getting like regular checkups and prescription medications written out for her. I mean, she lived in a bamboo hut and just out in the woods. She didn't have plumbing. She didn't have running water. I don't know if she had a one electric line going there or not. Maybe she had a light bulb in there. I'm not sure. But my point is, you can live long just the way God created you. You just have to, well, we got to get away from American diet, the standard American diet, as they say, the SAD diet. It's one of my biggest goals right now is to just eat clean, for one, which is pretty easy for me. Like, I don't have a problem eating my eggs and meat and fruit and nuts and seeds and berries and just stay away. I eat a little bit of bread, but I make my own homemade bread, or buy the Ezekiel 419 bread, which has no flour. It's just like a sprouted seeds bread. So it's it's infinitely better as far as spiking my blood sugar, especially if I eat 2 eggs and then eat the piece of bread, rather than eat the bread and then eat the 2. It just slows down the absorption of them carbs so much, so more significantly than even if you eat junk food. Even if you ate like a chocolate Snicker bar, let's say you fasted for 12 hours and then you ate a Snickers, which, when I'm taking care of myself, that doesn't even do nothing. It doesn't spike my blood sugar all that bad. I can see I ate something sugary. But if I fast, as long as I'm saying if I'm taking care of myself, like going jogging and hiking and working out. But say that I do the same thing, let's say it goes up to 140 or something. If I do the same thing, but then I first eat 2 fried eggs and, just my fat and my protein before, then eat the Snicker bar, I'm actually eating more total. The blood sugar spike is less. And I did all this 10 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever it is now. It's coming up on 10 years next month. I used to check my blood sugar, like I used to buy those blood strips, like 6-pack at a time, because I took it 10 times a day, not once or twice. And I just wanted to take it, before I go for a hike, after I go for a hike. Before I eat lunch, after I eat lunch. Take it before I eat lunch, then wait 15 minutes and check it, then wait 30 minutes and check it, then wait 60 minutes and check it, then go for a 2-hour hike, sometimes a 5-hour hike, and then get home and check it, and it was crazy how your blood sugar is all over the place on a daily basis. you say your average was this, which I'm not sure, like, is 5.2 equivalent to like your blood sugar is averagely 90? Like, I don't know. It's something, there's an easy, there's charts online. You can look that up. Even if you check your blood sugar and let's say it's like in the morning, it's supposed to be less than 100. So let's say you Google it and you say, well, what's 100 blood sugar average? What would my A1C be then? And it's that number. It's that five. I think it's 5.6. Is the first number of pre-diabetic or the last number of not diabetic. It's right in there. So anyway, so let's say your A1C is 12 right now, and I'm talking about that 90 days to just reverse diabetes. No pills, no shots, no nothing. I did it 10 years ago. Super easy. And you haven't been diagnosed with diabetes yet, but you're overweight, so you go to Walmart and just buy that. Just get on Amazon and order the little blood pricker. It's got a little poker, little needle, pokes your finger, put the strip in the little machine. It only costs like $20, somewhere between 20 and $30. They're cheap, and you got like 100 test strips come with it, so you can check your blood sugar 100 times. Oh, in this example, you just found out you have diabetes. So you just went to the doctor. They found out you have diabetes. They wrote you the prescription for the pills, just like they did to me. I actually went and got the pills, brought them home, mostly just because I wanted to read about them and see what they would give me. I never took one. I've still never taken one of them. I might even still have them somewhere. I think I threw them away when I moved to this apartment, but I actually had them in a cupboard somewhere for years. Just wondering what if I ever took one, because I know they really crash your blood sugar. They're a great weight loss supplement, actually. Because it removes the sugar out of your blood, and that causes you to lose weight. But with diabetes, they don't always lose weight from it, because it causes them to eat more sugar, because their blood sugar is not that high, and when you take that pill, it makes you have to eat more sugar. Otherwise, it will go too low. They'll look at their blood sugar and they'll be like, oh shit, it's 55. I need to eat sugar. And then they'll eat a sandwich, with white bread and candy. And I've seen diabetics, they just eat sugar all day. And then they get it up to 170 and they're all happy. Like, oh, okay, it's not getting too low. It's like, well, for me, 170 would be terrible. 70, I'd actually be happy if my blood sugar was 70 all the time. So back to that story, though. You check your blood sugar, and it's going to be whatever, crazy. I think mine was originally, when I first checked it, it was like 315. So I fasted for 10 days, which you don't have to do. But we'll first say what I did. I fasted for 10 days, and I checked my blood sugar, and I started working out, and not like lifting weights, but I started walking and just going outdoors and stretching and walking. And I fasted for 10 days, and my blood sugar was like 70. But that was with zero food for 10 days. So see what that can do? Your blood sugar from 315, A1C 11.1, 11.2, all the way down to 70, the bottom number of normal. Below that is considered hypoglycemic. Then you have low blood sugar. So then I felt good, and I had already lost quite a bit of weight. Let's just say 15 pounds in that 10 days or something, because you lose tons of weight when you're fasting. It's a lot of water and carb weight, but you drop it. So then for you're not going to fast for 10 days. That's too hard. Let's just skip that. But then I went to this. I just cut out all the bad. No pop, no beer. I mean, I quit. That's basically what caused me to quit drinking. So I haven't drank since then. I've had beers here and there for the first few years, but after that, I didn't really drink for the first 2 years, and then I drank for a couple of years lightly because I knew I couldn't drink heavy anymore. But then I just eventually just completely cut it out. It was so minimal. I was to the point where I was only having I was counting, do I have a 12-pack a year? Do I have a 6-pack a year? It's just like, why do I even drink that then? Why have one beer? And if it's going to be a negative connotation in my mind for my health and for my wealth and for my spirituality and for my, everything, just let it go. So you're checking your blood sugar every day. You don't even have to do the fast. You just get on that eggs and beef and chicken and fish. You could go ahead and eat the vegetables, but as long as you don't put any kind of sugary dressing on it, don't go buy like French dressing, because that stuff's like first ingredient is corn syrup. And don't buy like even, what is that, white dressing, ranch? Yeah, I mean, ranch has low carb, like it only has 1 or 2 grams of carbs per serving. But still, it's just hella fatty and it's full of oil. It's not good at all. It's just because it's low carb doesn't mean it's healthy, It just doesn't have carbs, like rat poison, let's say, doesn't have carbs. I don't know if it doesn't, but it doesn't mean it's healthy, right? So, make your own dressing is what I did. Just put Put like some apple cider vinegar with some olive oil. Just a little olive oil, little apple cider vinegar. Sometimes I put in like some brown mustard, stir that up, and just sprinkle that over your veg. You know, my salad is like 50-50. It's not just lettuce, you know, it's onions and peppers and tomatoes and, you know, it's things that have carbs, but it's not sugar carbs. It's natural carbohydrates, you know, it's high fiber, high volume, high water. And then as long as you use that olive oil vinegar combo, then your dressing has no sugar either. And if you get used to that vinegary flavor, with that healthy fat in there, it's delicious. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world right now. It tastes so good. So eat your eggs. You know, even have if you're a big eater at first and you need to eat a lot, eat a half a dozen scrambled eggs for breakfast, fried in butter. Maybe even with a hamburger patty on the side. And then for lunch, you know, eat, and you don't need to be that big 16-ounce ribeye I was talking about, but like, you know, you don't have to go that high fat. I'm really not sure what, you know, on keto, they tell you to be on like 80% fat, 20% protein, minimal carbs. Carnivore, they're basically like, it's basically the same thing, but with zero carbs. And so, you know, if you wanted to have the most dramatic effect, it'd be like, do what they tell you to do on carnivore as strict as you can. And then if you can't, then add that salad because it's such volume. Especially if you skip, don't put the olive oil in it because olive oil has like 100, 200 calories an ounce or whatever, or more than that. It's a tablespoon. It's a lot of calories, even though it's healthy. But so you won't lose as weight as quite as rapidly, but you will crash your blood sugar. So that's the point of the story. So whichever way you do it, you do that for 90 days, and you're pretty much going to reverse that disease completely. As far as the symptoms of it, you know, like, well, if you go eat a cake, it's going to skyrocket your blood sugar and you're going to get diabetes again. It's like, well, so are you someday. You just haven't been diagnosed with it yet, you know. It's skyrocketing worldwide. I mean, in America, it was skyrocketing already, but now it's pretty much skyrocketing worldwide because these capitalistic fast food chains are even in communist countries now. You know, so they're eating them junk, salt, oil, French fries that are just poisonous. So yeah, it's making everybody around the whole world sick. And who's benefiting from it? I mean, it's obvious. It is beyond obvious. So to be positive, to stick to your guns. Like for me, like I just was trying to give advice, but if I listen to myself, I'm telling myself exactly what to do. Because this is what we need to do. You know, I had a cheat day yesterday, which I would say don't try so hard to not have a cheat day. Just make sure it's not every day or even every week. You know, if you've been dieting for 6 months and all of a sudden Thanksgiving comes and you know, you're going to spend time with family and friends and loved ones and children and just enjoy the meal. Don't pig out. Don't go crazy, but you don't have to be all like, oh, I'm not eating potatoes. I'm not eating dessert. It's one day. It's one meal. You could skip breakfast and lunch that day and just eat that one. And it probably won't even affect you. It'll affect you if you do it every day, obviously. But if you just did it once in a while and you worked your way around it. So like today, I'm working my way around that meal yesterday. Postponed lunch and then started going through my checklist. Chug that water. Get on that bike. Do that Tai Chi. Do the stretching. Cold therapy. I'm in my shorts and tank top right now. Maybe I'll just make a quick video because I'm going to go outside. It's like 0 degrees out right now. And I'm just going to hang out for a minute or two. And it's great cold therapy, especially right after this. I know I'm just starting to get a little sweaty. We're going on an hour. What are we at for mileage? We got to be getting up to 15 miles at least. Where are we at? That is odometer. Well, I've really put a lot of miles on this thing in the last month. Let's see here. I'm looking for distance. Is that next? It's scrolling through its numbers. Speed 20. Come on, go to the distance. Oh, there we go. 17. Yeah, 17.7 miles. Why did I think it'd be farther than that? I must have been going slower before. But just the point of staying focused on the good stuff. It's not a big deal. You know, say, well, I don't want to have to work out my whole life. Well, you really don't, because dieting, you know, eating healthy is going to be far more beneficial for your like weight loss than working out. And I say that because if you're working out like crazy but then still overeating like crazy, you'll have a net not a benefit at all. Where if you're not working out at all but you're under eating as far as your goal weight, like for me, if I eat 1700 calories a day, it's under eating for my current body weight because it'll cause me to lose weight, but it's not under eating for my goal weight of 170. It's the accurate amount, you know, maybe just say 2000 even with some exercise, even 2400. It's okay to undereat to that level, and so you'd be better to just undereat than just work out. But I'm not saying pick. I'm saying do both. Working out well, it motivates you to eat right because you exercised, but also it's so beneficial. Like, it's very hard to lower your cholesterol just by eating. Whereas working out, you know, really increases your high density lipoproteins and reduces your low density. So even if it doesn't change the number, like say my cholesterol's like at like 200, which is slightly high. I don't believe it's high enough to be on any medication, even though she gave me one. It depends on where that number is. It depends on if it's high density or low density, and they don't tell you that part. You can look at your chart and it'll show it, but it's like, oh, okay, so I'm actually not in a bad part of the cholesterol journey. And I don't know enough about cholesterol. I'm not a doctor, but the doctors on YouTube that do study cholesterol, they are like, you're being lied to continuously about cholesterol. It's not even a problem. There's a doctor, I don't know, I'm not pretending to know, I'm just kind of conveying the message I got from him, but he has very high cholesterol all the time. And of course, never has a heart attack or a stroke, and it's because he works out all the time, and it's good cholesterol. Like, your body has tons of cholesterol. Your brain is like majority cholesterol. Every cell is surrounded by cholesterol as a protection. It's actually like an anti-inflammatory. So, are they telling the truth fully? You know, I don't know. I'm just saying, exercising does help. So, where did I say the number was at? Was I past 15? I think I was. I just realized I was thinking of 15. I normally ride 15 miles a day, but yesterday I didn't ride the bike. We left for that party and I never got to it, but the day before I went 20, and oh yeah, I'm at 18.7. So we're almost at, we might as well go 20 miles now. Maybe I'll even try to, I want to try to go farther, but I got to be honest, my butt is hurting on this seat. I remember back in the day when I'd really try to go far on this thing. It'd be on like a non-running day when I was training for my half marathon. You know, I think I'd run on Monday. It was something like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. Or Monday. Yeah, something like that. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. And then some of the other days, I remember Sunday would be one of them where I would be on a bike because Saturday was like the long run day, simulating that's your half marathon day. Then I would even put like a big pillow on the seat to not be dying. But I think I've had enough. I'm just at about 19 miles. All right, guys, as I always say, Jesus loves you, I love you, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.